Stop the Motion with your host, Chino Moreno. Special guest, DangITProductions.
There. So hello people and welcome back to another Chino Moreno Stop Motion channel. This time we have another cool episode of the Don't Stop the Motion podcast interview. Thank you for tuning in. Hello and welcome back. This episode is I'm very lucky and super cool. I'm able to chat with this awesome animator slash YouTuber, which I really admire. Dang it, production, man. How are you doing, man? Welcome.
Oh, thank you, Jim. I'm having a great time.
Super cool, super cool. Thank you so much for being over here. It's really our honor to have you. I've been following your work probably from the early beginnings because your channel was skyrocketing in views. The quality of the content is super cool, man. So for those people new to your channel, what can you tell about the things that you do for the YouTube?
Yeah, of course. So I'm DangITProductions, as you already know. I'm just a small little stop motion YouTuber. I make cool, or hopefully I think is cool, action figure stop motions with superheroes. And I also do a bit, or now I do a bit of 3D animation with original characters that I've created. If you don't know, Dip and Chip. And yeah, I've just been doing this for, I think, about 4 years now. And yeah, I'm just a little side hobby, that's all.
That's super cool, man. That's super cool. So I'm just switching my camera over here. Hello there. I'm there. There I am. Yeah. So I'm better with that. Hello. Welcome back. Sorry, I need to work on my green screen so this kind of works better, so people cannot tell that this is my Zoom background. So, anyways, man. Thank you so much. What can you tell about probably your introduction to stop motion or toy collecting? What's going on over there? How did you enter into that? I know you are very young and super talented guy. So how did this passion for animation and stop motion started, man?
Yeah, so I'm sure a lot of you guys probably know Forrest 101 or Forrest Fire 101. He was
Yeah,
probably
he's
my
awesome.
first introduction. Yeah, he was definitely the guy I watched when I was really, really young. And I think I was probably like 10 or something. Was when I first seen him, and that kind of just sparked an interest in stop motion. So yeah, I started with like Legos, like how everyone most likely starts. Just some
Yeah.
Legos playing in my living room with like a flip phone or something, taking pictures. Yeah, the struggle was real back then. I was using flip phones to make animations. Never posted them.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
but yeah, that's what I used to do. Flip phone was great. And then
Yeah, like
I never really the action figures and stuff until 4 years ago. Yeah, I never did action figure stop motion until I started the channel.
oh, okay. So everything that we see on your channel is something that you acquire for a special project or something like that. I guess.
Yeah, everything you see on the channel is like me first trying it out. I've
Okay.
never tried action figure stop motion before that. So if you look back at my first ever video, the quality is not as good as the quality I have right now.
Dude, I'm super impressed because the quality you acquire in such a short amount of time, it's super cool, bro. You have a keen eye for action, for choreography, and for camera angles and storytelling, man. I can tell you are very talented, man.
Oh yes, thank you. Well, actually, if I could I give some tips to the viewers?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just want to address this now because I get asked this a lot, and it's about how I make my movements so good and how I make the choreography and camera angle so good. My best tip for people is to watch an action movie. Watch any action movie, take notes, try to copy some of those moves from the action movies, and you'll learn quick how to do like action scenes.
Dude, that's a super advice, and that really gets into my head right now because I do remember one of the first movies that kind of really got me into how you can tell it, like of the action scenes. Like I'm an '80s kid, so I grew up with '90s movies, but the action was super bad, man. It was like so cheesy. The fights had no sense. The abilities of the people doing movies was not that good. So I grew up on Jackie Chan. Actually, Jackie Chan is one of my childhood heroes, and he was
Oh yeah,
fighting
oh yeah.
like with this awesome style with the kung fu, but doing it right. Like only like before him, only Bruce Lee was super cool, but he was like always the badass guy, and there was no really like a bar to measure his power because you always knew he was going to win. But with Jackie Chan, the action was super cool and so creative, and it actually, I think, the inheritance of his movies and his works. I just funny fact over there. I just laugh when people think about Shang-Chi as an innovation movie on action. And it's like it's really a love letter to Jackie Chan, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah. I definitely agree. But I will
Yeah,
say though, Shang-Chi is definitely better than all the action you've seen in most Marvel movies. That's just my opinion.
yeah,
They don't just stack up to any of the kung fu in there. But yeah, in terms of Jackie Chan though, I think Jackie Chan is still probably some of the best when it comes to hand to hand. So,
yeah.
if you want to learn how to do fight stuff, just watch Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan is great in terms of teaching you how to do fight stuff.
Exactly. And I think the modern day of action, like if you can call it like that, like a new mm, not revolution, but like a new way of doing movies could be probably just I would put John Wick on that special category of doing things a little bit better. The craftsman of making a movie and a sequence, you can tell that the stunt guys really put some love into what's going on over there. So yeah, John Wick, but it's more like a shooting and stuff like that, and but yeah, man, yeah. What can you tell us about? Because we were talking a little bit in the before we started the recording that you watch a lot of anime.
Oh yeah, yeah. I definitely. Well, I mean, for a while I did stop, but I've recently got back into it because I've been trying to learn a little bit about. Well, because I do 3D animation, I'm trying to learn more about how people animate things. Even though it's 2D, it still applies to 3D. About movement happens and how they use as little frames as possible to just hit the points when it comes to movement. So I've
Yeah,
been watching a lot of Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer is great. I've been trying to learn a lot from that when it comes to action stuff.
I need to watch that one. A lot of people have told me that I should. I think the last thing that I watched like seriously, like full, was One Punch Man. And people was
Oh yeah.
complaining a lot about the second season, but I think it was super cool as well. It's a little bit different. You can tell there is like a just a little step below of what they deliver on the first season, but I think it's still pretty cool. But a lot of people told me to watch Demon Slayer, and I should. Yeah,
Yeah. Demon Slayer is definitely really good. So yeah, that's another little tip. If you want to learn some fast movements and animation stuff, definitely check out Demon Slayer. That's a really good one.
yeah. What I want to ask you this as well because I can tell on your early videos, and that's something that I catch on a lot of new animators that they repeat themselves with the movements and the punches and the action and the shots. So one thing that got my eye, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people on your audience, is that it really you play a lot with the camera, and even for one split second you take your time to switch the angle and put this over there on the action, and then you go back and stuff like that. So I think you do that pretty well, man.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Because I've seen a lot of a lot of better stop motioners like Swag, that guy. He does stop motion. You don't know Leo, all that. And something I noticed is just a lot of consistency with cameras. And so I wanted to really change it up. And the best way that I found to change it up is just to add a lot of different angles. And as long as you stick to this one film rule, which is called the 180-degree rule, is where you
Okay.
stick to one side of like a point of view. So let's say there's a line that
Yeah.
cuts right through, like right in front of you. It's just a
Yeah.
straight line. As long as you don't pass through that line, you could do as many crazy angles as you want, and people will
O-
still understand what's happening.
Okay. Yeah. Because normally what happens into a stop motion set, like probably the one I have over here right now, is that there's like three walls at top. Probably a roof, probably a floor. But if you switch the camera back, probably you will see the set, right? Is that what you mean?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's also another reason. That's also another thing too. Also keeping sure you don't break the fourth wall, stuff like that.
Okay, because dude, where have you been? I do take a lot of time sometimes because I try to show the audience the 360 look of a street or something like that. So sometimes I break the set and I try to think about the other 180 degrees. And that's probably me just shooting at my foot, because I need to do some extra work into building that part of the set. And especially if I want to switch between characters, I need to go back and forward. And for me, it's harder to do like what they do in movies, like they do the action of one character and they film everything they need into that set, and then they move on to the other one. So for me, the process is more like I need to film as the sequence goes. That takes me a lot of time to do.
Yeah,
To
yeah,
listen to
yeah.
your advice. Yeah,
Yeah, it's definitely a struggle in that part. That's another thing about me as an animator. I like to make as little work for myself as possible, especially when I do stop motion animation. So I like to do like a lot of cheats and cuts when things. So here's another little tip. So for like let's say rigging, right? I hate rigging. I hate doing rigging. Rigging is the
yeah,
worst for me. So what
yeah.
I
Me too.
do, or what I like to do, yeah, what I like to do is I try to cheat it as much as I can. So let's say a character is going for a jump kick. I like to cheat it as much as I can by grabbing, let's say, one body part of them outside of the frame.
Yeah,
That way it looks like they're flying, but they're not, or but there's like no rig. It's just my hand holding it. So I don't have to do any erasing, none of that. As long as it's outside the frame and it looks like they're flying, that's good
yeah.
enough for me. You can
I
definitely catch a
totally,
lot of that if you look at it.
yeah, I totally get what you do, but dude, I just have these crazy. It's just me probably just complicating myself, but I just love the open shots where you can see everything going on, like these kind of Snyder shots, like they go super slow, but you can see a little bit of the background, but that implies that you need to do the extra work to actually do the rigging or actually do the green screening and stuff like that. So one thing that you made just masterfully, man, it's a Spider-Man video where you actually use your hands and the narrative of switching between animations and how your hand is doing the motion. Dude, that was like I've never seen it before. That's such an awesome idea to do stop motion in a super cool way to avoid actually reading.
Yeah, actually, funny story about that video. It was just like one night, I thought to myself, I was just like, why do I go through the trouble of doing rigging? What if I just do a video where I just hold them, just to like save me the time. I just thought
Yeah,
about that, like, why don't I just hold figures? And then suddenly it just came to my mind. I was like, wow, why don't I just do something like that where I just have them switch in and out between stop motion world and real
yeah.
life? So yeah, that's kind of how this
I'm,
happened.
I'm guessing that the worst part of that video was what do you use to take actual picture, because I'm guessing if you have the camera always on your hand, probably you can animate the figure somehow, and then using the other hands to take the picture. Or how was it, man?
Oh yeah, I actually have. Well, I switched to something else now, but I have a Bluetooth phone. Well, I do this all on my phone, by the way. All my stop motion is done on my phone. I
Oh,
have a Bluetooth camera clicker for my phone, so I just click that to take pictures. And when I was doing scenes with both my hands in it, I just put it in my mouth and I clicked it with my mouth.
that was my guess. I remember one of the scenes that I'm shooting for the Homelander video. I was just taking the pictures with my nose. The phone was in my face, and I was holding the figures, and I was just using my nose to hit the red button. And I was like, I need to get a clicker too. That was just stupid.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's definitely a struggle, but the quality comes out pretty good if you do it like that.
Yeah. I definitely hear you, man. So speaking about Homelander, bro, probably I'm jumping back and forward, but dude, I'm super excited of what can you do with that guy because I've been messing with him for like 8 months now. Like my process is super slow, but dude, I when I saw your picture about the Homelander, I was like, man, I just cannot wait what you do with him.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a fun figure. I definitely enjoy it. There's some limitations with his arm, but other than that, I do really like. I love Mafex. Mafex is probably my favorite band when it comes to action figures. They kill it with articulation.
Yeah, I know. I was watching one of your videos, and I think it was the Oniman costume, And is that a bootleg? How do you do that? I think I can hear you in the video. If I remember correctly, you ordered that costume from another dude, or did you paint it yourself?
Could you ask that again and start cutting off?
Yeah, sorry, man. I just saw the I just saw the ad on my computer that my internet was crappy. So I was asking that. Well, actually, I was watching your video about the Omni-Man costume, and I saw some parts over there. I didn't have the time to watch it. I just watched it when you release it, but I was watching it again, and I see some of the paints over there. But did you buy that guy? It was a custom already, or did you actually? How does it work? Do you buy a bootleg and then you paint it? Because I've seen a lot of people talking about the graphics and how the quality does not always match the price. So I do have one flash figure that is a bootleg, and the quality is super cool for a bootleg. So I'm not sure if that's the standard for Mafex or.
Yeah, yeah. You're talking about Omni Man, right? Omni Man.
Yeah, shit.
Oh yeah. That was made with a bootleg, a Venom bootleg. So it's definitely very tricky with bootlegs for Mafex for sure. I like to bet on the Spider-Man and the Venom. Those are probably two of the best bootlegs out there if you want to get bootlegs. I'm not against bootlegs. They're great for customs. Hence why I made Omni Man out of it. But yeah, so it's all done by me. Every custom you see that I have is always done by me. I just prefer it that way. I have my own preferences. So if I
Yeah,
just make it myself, it'll always be the way that I want. And yeah, so that's what I do. I just do the customs all on my own. It took me a while to learn how to get as good as I am now, but yeah, it's definitely something I prefer doing.
I think I don't know if this happened to you, but whenever you do the first one, I think that's going to be the hardest one because you have this like love for the figure, but you don't want to mess it up. But once you start and you see that it's not that hard, sky's the limit, because you eventually get good, and you can have like I've seen a lot of people doing a lot of details, sanding the joints and doing some like a lot of layers of paint and stuff like that, and doing some I don't know the name of the airbrush, and stuff like that. But actually, I do some customs as well, and I just use regular acrylic paint, and the results they kind of look awesome in camera.
I I actually do something very similar where I just mainly use paint. I try to do as little prep work as possible. I'm a very impatient guy. I like to get things done fast. So that Omni Man that I have, it took me a week max to make, and I was like on and off. So yeah, I try to do as little work as possible. There's barely any sculpting on them. It's mainly just paint.
Dude, that's an awesome figure, man. So, well, let me just talk about. I've seen your channel. I tell you, and I do have like a lot of projects that I like from your channel. The Batman one, dude. Well, you have. I think it's. If I can recall correctly, you have like two or three Batman videos. Do you have one with the? I always forget the name of the dude. The guy with the red mask. But you have
Red Hood.
yeah, you have another one with just the Batman and stuff like that, and it's like this Harley, and this how do you call it? It's like an apartment set, and that's just
Yeah, yeah.
punches and stuff like that. I love that video, man. That's super cool. And then I also love the one that you have with Chip and Dip. That's super cool, man. I think you should continue those series, man. It's super fun, especially with the Fortnite figures. And then I just
Yeah.
love the everything you do with Spider Man and Venom and Scarlet Spider Man, dude. It's super awesome. It's really hard for me to pick a favorite video of your work, and I wanted to ask you what is your favorite video of yourself, man.
Well, it always changes. Used to be dip and chip, but right now, my favorite video out of all of my videos is Superman versus Hulk. That is probably the video I've put in the most time ever on any video ever onto
Yeah,
that. That was about 5 months. It took me about 5 months to make that video.
okay, dude, you, man. Whenever I ask this question, I feel so inspired, but I feel so crappy because it's taking me so long to put the video together. But man, that's super impressive, man. Because one, it's a super long video. Two, you have a lot of VFX going on over there, especially with the green screen and stuff like that. And the fight sequence and stuff like that, the camera, the 3D environment and stuff like that is like three more levels of difficulty.
Oh yeah, that video I definitely really wanted to push the limit for stop motion. I wanted to I kind of wanted to be like an innovator, if that makes sense. I wanted to be someone that set like this new bar for
Yeah,
stop motion, and I definitely think I did. It's not as good as I would have wanted to be, but it definitely turned out really well. There was actually the video. That video is actually supposed to be a lot longer than that, but I took 5 months to make it. So I cut the script in half, and now the other half is gonna be part two, which
okay.
I'm already prepping to make, even though I'm still working on Dip and Chip, and then I'm working on Superman versus Homeland. I have so many projects.
Dude, that's super awesome. So, anyways, dude, that's super cool. Did you make all of the buildings, or did you download it, some of them, and then you just put it into a software and then move the camera? How much of that?
Yeah,
I'm guessing you did everything from scratch.
there was a lot done from scratch, a lot of the buildings, but at some point it took just too much. It was too much time. So I went online and I bought a lot of building models. So I put in a lot of money into this video. I'll say that right now. I made it all back, so we're good. But it definitely took me a lot of money.
You know
Yeah,
what?
I had to buy a lot of different buildings.
I think this is something that we can relate a lot because I try to do the same with the Gohan video. I don't know if you've seen it, but I did this. I was always fan of these like flying fights between the buildings. Again, a reference from the Matrix. And I do have my set of buildings that are in a smaller scale. and I always wanted to do some camera crazy stuff going on. Especially, I think the first one I did it was with the Spider-Man, which the results were kind of great. But for the Gohan fight, I was aiming to do some crazy angles without actually looking back, and then you will see my set or my room, and that will just screw the shot. So I did this composition on the 3D After Effects, and I built all of the buildings. And dude, I was it was a lot of work. But now that I have the files of the city, I can add more and more files, and I can reuse it. And I think it's super cool because now you have done like half of the hardest thing for new videos. So I'm guessing I can relate a lot with you on that department. You know.
Oh yeah, it definitely takes a lot of time. Also, I wanted to say my little brothers love your Gohan video. I have watched that one.
Thank you, man. I think that was the first time I really pushed myself into trying to make like a story that actually is connected more to the story, because before that I was just doing punches and stuff like that just because of the sake of the action. But I think in that video the stakes were high, and then we have this kind of how do you call it, like parody of One Punch Man and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed that video, and actually I just got the new Gohan figure, which is I don't know if you have seen it, but it's the from the last movie with the purple suit, and that's one of my
Yeah,
favorites
yeah,
looks for
I've seen it.
Gohan. Yeah, and dude, when he's wearing that, he's fighting Broly. I'm so tempted to do a Broly versus Gohan, and I'm also a big fan of Gohan versus versus Super Blue, which I've seen very few people, probably zero people doing animation with that guy, and he's probably one of my favorite essay figures from Dragon Ball. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I've actually been thinking about doing Dragon Ball as well because I am also a Dragon Ball fan. I'm a pretty big Dragon Ball fan. I've seen all the new stuff and all the old stuff. I've definitely been tempted by the idea of Superman versus Goku,
Dude, I
but
need to
I have
finish that one.
yeah, a lot of projects,
Dude,
like I said, so I
dude,
don't have time.
please do it, man. Please do it. Do you have any figures of Dragon Ball?
Yeah, I have a lot of Dragon Ball figures. I don't think I've ever shown it off, but I do have a lot of Dragon Ball figures. I
I
actually, the
would,
latest one I got was Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta.
dude. I just did the same, man. That's one of the best
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
all time figures, right? In my
Oh
opinion,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's really good. It's really
Dude, I just got that one because I don't want to close the door, but the fight between Vegeta and Broly on the Chinaverse is not over. So at some point, I would love to continue on that one because I still haven't used the Super Broly, and I need to do something with that Vegeta, you know, because he's super cool. Also the Goku, and I need to go back
yeah,
and probably after the Homelander, I'm really struggling of what is going to be the next project. I just asked the audience a few days ago, and everybody wants Goku back. So yeah, man, I think that's one project that I need to. I think it is going to be like like the best video on the channel. I at least I want it to be like that, and I wanted to get a little bit more experience and refine my art before I go and jump into part two, man. But yeah, man, you should go for Goku versus everybody, man. Homelander, Omni-Man, and Superman. I'm sure you will get there sometime.
yeah. I'm hoping to get there at some point for sure. But I just gotta finish these projects right now. Like I said, I'm already starting on working a bit on Superman versus Hulk. There's gonna be some crazy stuff in the part two. So yeah, I'm just prepping now because I'm gonna start that pretty soon.
Sweet, man. So crazy idea over here. People in the comments, I think they will just go crazy if we are able to pull something But I was just going to suggest to you and maybe to Banimation that maybe we can do some crossovers between universes and stuff like that because I really think we have similar ideas for the fights and the for the figures that we got, and it will be cool, man. If you're up to, I would love it, man.
Yeah, crossovers. I mean, that sounds fun, but I have a lot of issues when it comes to. I'm a very big perfectionist, like a very big perfectionist, and I only like things in my own kind of style. So I don't think I'll be able to work with anyone else, sadly.
That's good, man. No pressure, yeah. But yeah, man, I can tell your work is super amazing. So, what I also want to ask you, what are you working on currently? Which is going to be the next project for those people that don't follow probably on Instagram?
Yeah, I'm currently working on two things. It's Superman versus Homelander, kind of same deal like Superman versus Hulk, 3D with stop motion. That one is only a small side project. It's just only something for me to use as a break away from my main video, which I'm hoping that to like finish first. That I've been working since December, so it's been a couple months since I started it. It's Dit versus Chip, the revised series. So this is now switching to 3D. I know some people don't like the idea. I've got a couple comments, people saying that they want the stop motion back, but I want this series to be more, more crazy, more intense, and something that lets me do crazier things. So I switched to 3D animation because it's my original characters and I want them to really stand out.
Yeah,
Yeah, that video I'm hoping comes out first. I've been working on it since December, like I said, so it's been a while. I'm currently taking a break because I'm really busy, so I can't really work on it as much as I want. But that one I'm hoping to come out first. Maybe by the end of the summer. I can't make any promises. I never know when I finish a video.
yeah, man. I've seen some teasers over there of the things that you've been posting, man, and it's looking great. I actually love the fact that you can switch back and forward because I don't know what you think, but for some animators, sometimes they get uh, it's like a marriage, you know. If you do the 2D, just do it 2D, and if you do stop motion, just do it stop motion, and if you do 3D, just do 3D. I just love the fact that you combine the techniques for a better product, you know.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, there's definitely issues with both of the mediums, like stop motion. Gravity is a really big one, and then 3D animation, it just takes more time to do. But they all have their perks, and that's the reason why I like doing both of them because it it gives me a break from each thing. Like 3D gives me a break from stop motion because I don't have to deal with gravity anymore, or stop motion gives me a break from 3D because now I don't have to move every single finger or face part or something like that. It's really nice for me since I do stop motion and 3D like all the time every day. So it's really good for me in terms of giving refreshers to myself.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking probably like when you do stop motion, I've heard somebody saying that it's the ultimate art expression because you kind of do a lot of stuff. You do photography, you do planning, sometimes you do storyboards or whatever. But it's like you said, you are one man project, you know, and especially for at least for me, sometimes finding the time for me to have like just like 2 hours or 3 hours to animate without any interruption is getting harder for me. So that's I think one of the reasons that I cannot put stuff faster. But when you switch to the 3D animation, it makes a lot of sense because you can work wherever you are in a computer. You can just add some 5 more minutes of work in the computer instead of going like 2 hours into the set, which I just hate when I don't have the time to go longer into the studio. If I have like half an hour, I don't want to go to the studio because I know I will have to cut the process. So how's it for you, man?
Yeah, for me, well, I a lot of time when it comes to like prepping for me at least by not doing things like stories or thinking through everything. Like all the fight action actually just comes straight from my head. I don't do any storyboarding, so that cuts out a lot of time for me, which is great. Um, and then I also spend a couple of hours just kind of sitting on my desk. I do everything on my desk, by the way. So I just sit around for a couple hours, sweating, doing stop motion. Fortunately or unfortunately, now I don't have that time anymore because in college, and that definitely takes up a lot of time. So the most time I get now is like an hour or two every day at night. And the most footage I could pump out since I do a maximum 24 frames per second, which is a lot of frames, I could pump out maybe 5 seconds, 7 seconds of footage every single day now. So it takes a lot of time.
Yeah, same here, man. I hear you, bro. So yeah, I'm sure. Well, you just tell me that your process is more like going on as you flow with no special storyboard in your head, and that's a very cool creative process to go to. And I do use as well for most of my projects. But how is it for you? Sometimes I do have on my head like. An idea of a fight or a video, and I have like probably 3 or 4 main scenes that I want to shoot, and then I connect everything. Like I think right now for the Homelander, one thing I know people hate me and say, dude, put it together already, but I think this long time that I have been having to moderate the idea and come up with new ways to do an animation, it's actually better for the project. Without overthinking. But in your case, how does it work? Do you have any specific idea of some punches, some actions? Because I can tell you know the character so well, man.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely have these kind of like ideas in my head. So like one specific thing that I did before this for a Spider-Man video, it's the scene where, or it's from Spider-Man versus Carnage, that video. There was the scene when Scarlet Spider, which is the one with the blue hoodie, he
Yeah.
jumps into the scene from like under the building, so he does that kind of jump and he pounces. I had that scene in my head probably before the video started. So I kind of do the same process as you. I have these ideas in my head, and then I try to like shoot towards that idea and then connect it together. So like right now, I have like 20 different shots in my head for dip and chip for some things that I want to like happen that are like far beyond where I am right now. And right now, I'm just kind of working to that point and then connect it together.
Dude, man, I feel like dude, this is why I just love talking with animators, man. I just feel like a real connection over there, man, because we have similar process and way to do things. So I wanted to ask you as well. Probably this is a pretty obvious one, but I think your favorite toy line is Mafex. Do you have anything else? As you said before, you have some Dragon Ball figures. You have some other stuff that you collect, but probably you haven't animated, or some figure that you wish you could animate with that you haven't.
Yeah, yeah. Mayfix is definitely my top choice because the articulation is great, and I need that in order to get some crazy, shots and videos. But if I had to go for something else, I would give it to Figure Arts, Figure Arts for sure. That one's a close second, but Mayfix definitely for me still in the top. It definitely gives enough articulation like Figure Arts, like the Hulk, the Figure Art Hulk that I use. That one is probably the most articulated for me and what I like to use because butterfly joints are very important to me. If a figure doesn't have butterfly joints, I have to do a lot more in order to make the
Yeah.
movements look smooth with the arms. Yeah, that's definitely a must for me. If not, then just more work. So like Marvel Legends, I could animate with the Marvel Legends. I don't have an issue with that. It's just that sometimes I need to do more in order to make it look more natural. So
Yeah.
Marvel Legends is a little more down down the list
Actually,
for me when it comes to my.
yeah, for sure. Actually, one thing that happened to me recently, is I just have these lover figures that I wanted to move them the less as they can because I don't want to get the loose joints, But I just have this relationship with a kid that has this Spider-Man from Marvel Legends, and he just label the guy all over the place and do all crazy shit with the articulation. I'm like, no, 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 don't do it. But actually, the figure, I think right now, as it's wearing off, the articulation is way better than it was when it was brand new. So for marble, I think sometimes you need to loosen up some of the joints in order to get that expression. And in figure art, I think one of the things I hate is that sometimes they sacrificate the swivel joint, just below the shoulder. Sometimes they just don't have it, and
Oh
that's
yeah, yeah,
missing like a lot of range. Like I
yeah,
do
yeah,
have that
for
hook
sure.
that you're talking about as well, and I just love the fact that they went all with the articulation. But for example, SHF Ryu from Street Fighter does not have it, or the Spider-Man the upgraded suit does not have it. I'm actually trying to switch from the SH figure Superman and Batman to the bootleg Mafex.
Oh yeah. I actually have bought that Makefix bootleg. It's okay. It's not amazing. I wouldn't recommend getting it at all.
Okay,
It's not that good. Yeah.
cool.
If you want something good, you could do what I did, which is buy the official black suit one and just paint it
I'm
blue
just
and
doing it.
red.
Yeah, I'm just lazy, man. I'm just lazy. If I ever get the black one, I will probably use it as it is into a video because I just love that the character as well. And since I have the SH figure arts, I think they are not that different. So if I switch in an animation between bodies, only just few people is going to notice.
Oh yeah, it's a really, really good figure. I definitely really enjoy it. It's probably one of my favorite of the live action Justice League stuff for sure.
The Superman, yeah.
Yeah, that's a really, really good figure, which is why I had to get like three of them.
So yeah, man. So, anyways, I want to ask you as well. What is your main or few of the main sources of inspiration that you got? Like as you said before, Demon Slayer. But in movies in general, what do you think about what we have right now with the Marvel universe, the MCU or DC? What do you look into for series and stuff like that? Anime.
It always depends on what I would look into. So let's say Dip and Chip, right? So Dip and Chip is my own original stuff. There's not really kind of like a preset kind of set of skills they have, their movements they do. So what I would do is I would just look for some random really good action like sequence and stuff and just kind of understand those movements and try to like incorporate that. So like one action movie star, his name is Scott Atkins. He
I
definitely
know the
inspires
dude.
me a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, really great, really good stuff he makes. So I use him as a lot of inspiration. So I would use that for like dip and chip. But let's say I'm doing like a Superman video, right? I would then go into and watch some Superman movies, understand how he would like fight and all that. And then that would serve as kind of my inspiration as to how the character would move, what kind of like attacks they would do, stuff like that. But like I said, if it's
Okay.
something else like dip and chip,
Yeah.
I'll find something else to do. Maybe anime. Anime can inspire me. Some really
Okay.
cool anime action shots will really inspire me, stuff like that. So yeah, it always just depends.
Yeah.
Not I'm never like focused on one thing when it comes to inspiration.
Yeah. That's the best approach, I guess. And also, I wanted to ask you because actually, one people noticed on the Superman video, and I just loved it, and I think that's the way to go. But for me, the to be honest with you, I was not that big fan of Superman up until the Justice League. I think what they did with the Henry Cavill and stuff was great. But for me, always the Superman character struggles with the fact that he can fly and he's super strong. they always do the same kind of action. Like he always fights and punch. That's like the signature move for him. But somebody noticed on the Superman versus Goku video that I was doing Superman doing like some kung fu and stuff like that, and my approach to that was like, if he's the strongest dude ever, and if he's the master of flying, why he should fly on a straight line, So I'm trying to find a cool sweet spot between how to incorporate a cool fight style into Superman. You know what I mean? And I'm doing that with Homelander now, and I think it's really paying off. What do you think about that? I think Superman, it's hard to do well because of these two things that get very repetitive after a while, and you don't have it. You do it great. That's why I wanted to ask you this specific question.
Yeah, I think adding, something more different to Superman's kind of attacks and stuff is definitely a must because, like you said, it is pretty repetitive with just the kind of fly and punch. I've seen a couple of people already for different kind of Superman things. Even like in the video games, there's that one move where he's like he punches and he flies right up really close and he punches them again. I've seen that a couple of times. I tried to avoid that from my video because I've seen someone else. What was his name? Zamnot. He does Superman versus Hulk as well. He's doing that right now.
Okay.
Love the video. But yeah, there's definitely that one move that's constantly repeated. And so I definitely agree with you when it comes to just adding something different, giving it more, what would you say, just giving Superman, that, I don't
Like an extra layer, yeah. Like an extra layer
Yeah,
of deepness, because I think that's one genius thing that they did with Omni-Man.
yeah, for sure. God, love Omni-Man. Omni-Man's great.
Yeah, that's super cool, man. That's super cool. So, I just wanted to man, I really enjoyed this talk with you, and pretty much we cover all of the topics that I wanted to cover with you. I know if we keep talking and talking and talking, I will gladly spend like 3 hours here talking to you. But man, it's just my pleasure to share some ideas with you and just to be chatting with you. It's super awesome. I'm a big fan of your project, man. To be honest with you, I'm super glad that it's taking you uh, way a way shorter time that a lot of people like me in the community of stop motion. I'm super happy um, that you are one super cool example of how the algorithm doesn't hate creators because you're doing so well. I'm super happy about that, and in you and other people. And dude, I'm just super excited to be here with you. And I wanted to interview you before you went huge like Leo Legendary or some other big names, man. But no, you're super cool, man.
No, yeah, it's my pleasure to be here. It's definitely something that I was really like down to do. I've never done like an interview like this before, and I was like, you know what? Why not? I don't see any reason why not to. So yeah, and also it just lets me share kind of my insight and what I kind of do to the community since I get a lot of questions already like that. So being able to have something else like a verbal like answer is also
Yeah,
really nice. So
yeah, yeah.
hopefully some of my community watches this video so they can get some answers from me that I don't give them through comments.
I'm sure they will. And actually, do you want to say something to them? Like this is your space, man. This is your program. Is there something that you want to talk about?
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, to all my fans that are I hope watching, stop asking me when a video will come out. I don't know. Okay, I don't know when I'll finish. I'll finish at some point. Stop asking me. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that is
it's
my biggest pet peeve.
you have to trust the process, man. Another thing that I got a
Yeah.
lot, and I think you should as well. I always get, especially in older videos, like in the Star Wars ones, people ask me, how the hell did I get that figure? if it hasn't been released on the Black Series, you know. And all of my, for example, all of the videos from Star Wars are on the vintage collection, which are 3.75 inches. And people ask me where to buy them, and I'm like, dude, I don't. It depends where you live in the world, you know. If you have Amazon
Oh
or
yeah, I
not,
get that
or
question too.
dude, for me, it's like I really appreciate a lot of the questions over there, but dude, to buy this figure, you need to go back. Like you need a time machine, you know, to buy it.
Yeah, I've definitely gotten that question a lot. A lot of people ask me about the Superman from Superman versus Hulk. And I've told a couple where it's like, yeah, it's Mayfex, but you're gonna have to spend a pretty penny if you want to get it because it's like $200 right now for like
Yeah,
retail on eBay. There's no way better than that.
dude. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Something else that you want to address?
Yes,
Oh wait.
guys, I'm only human. I'm only human, okay? I can't do everything all at once. All right, I can't answer all your questions. Just please, respect my human rights and give me some space. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, I do have two questions. I hope I don't forget them. One of them is if 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 money and time wouldn't be an issue, what will be your your utopic project, the best project that you would like to work on? What would you do?
Yeah, yeah. If money and time was not a restriction, I think the thing I would like to do is build more on dip and chip. It's a world that I really like in a world that I've created. There's so much that I've already thought of that has not even been shown yet from like all the teasers I've shown. There's so much going on. There's like a big bad guy. There's a big organization, a bunch of bad guy, like big main bad guys that serve under the bigger bad guy. There's so much. And
okay,
if I had like all in the world, I would love to build it into a big series.
dude. So that would be awesome. So right now, click on the link on the description below because we need people to patron you, man, for sure. Um,
Oh yeah,
so so yeah, so people need to understand a lot of. One thing I get is that people complain about me not using the screen accurate figure of that time or moment, you know, like like why
yeah,
didn't you use that other figure of that character? And I was like, because I'm poor, you know. I pay for my toys, and I take extra time for me not working into making videos, and I'm guessing it's the same for you, man.
oh yeah, for sure. There's definitely a lot of figures that I would have loved to have, but I can't because I can't afford them. Like the Marvel Legends Galactus, that would have been, or no, not Galactus, but the Sentries, like the X-Men Sentries, that would have been cool to have.
Dude,
Can't
yeah,
afford
me
that. That's
too.
like $300, so no
Yeah,
way.
the only way
Yeah,
that you could do
having
it is if
Mayfex
you,
X-Men figures.
yeah. Which one do you like the best? I
Yeah,
think that
money is definitely.
one of the best they made is I think the Gambit. You know?
Oh yeah, Gambit. I think. Are you talking about Mayfex, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Or are you just talking X-Men in general?
No, no, no.
Oh, Mayfex.
Mayfix
Okay, yeah. I
and
think one. Yeah, yeah, for sure. The Mayfex Gambit. I do own that. It was an impulse buy at the time, and when I bought it, I no longer had any money left. But I do not regret it at all. It was a really good.
totally worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
definitely amazing.
it's I think it's right there on the top of figures for anybody. You know. And yeah. One last thing I want to ask you. If you could give new animators any advice on how to get started, how to get a channel going on, what would you give as an advice for new animators?
Yeah. If I was to give any advice, I would say don't worry about spending a lot of money because now there's so many free things that you could use. like Stop Motion Studio. I literally do all my stop motion on that free app. I have it. I've been using it from the beginning. You don't need to spend a lot of money. You could buy a cheap Marvel Legend figure. There's plenty of cheap Spider-Man figures if you want a Spider-Man character. There's some great ones out there that are Marvel Legend. You could just use that. You don't need a big set. I started off with just doing it on my desk. So yeah, if you want to do stop motion, don't worry about spending big amount of money. I didn't do that in the beginning. I'm only doing it now because I have some money, a little bit, but it's not big money. But yeah.
Yeah, same here, man. Same here. So, anyways, dude, thank you so much for being on this episode of Don't Stop the Motion, man. This is really my pleasure. You are such a cool guy, and I will be really looking forward to talk to you again very, very soon.
Oh yeah, of course, definitely. It's my pleasure being here.
So thank you so much, man. So guys, if you like this video, don't forget to support in any way that you can or you want. Give a like, share a rewatch, watch a playlist, comment on the video from any animator that you like, especially DangITProductions, which is such a talented guy. Share the content with someone. I'm pretty sure, especially you, man, you should have like 100 videos that people is going to love for years to come. So comment on that, and that's a pretty cool way to support. And if you're in a comfortable position to help a little bit more, consider becoming a patron of any of your artists that you really love what they do. Because a lot of people would love to do this for a living, you know. And anyways, thank you so much, guys. Anything you want to say before we go, man?
Yeah, make sure you subscribe to this man. He's made some amazing videos, and comment as much as you can too.
Thank you so much, man. See you soon, man. So, anyways, thank you, bro. That's going to be the end of this.
Thank you so much for supporting the channel with your like, subscription and notification bell. If you'd like to help a little bit more, consider becoming a Patreon, so you can help the channel a big deal. Thank you so much for supporting. I am Chino Moreno and I will see you in the next video.